This price tag right here, it is a death sentence. If you're an indie dev and you price your game at $10 because you want to be accessible to everyone, you are accidentally destroying your visibility. Why? Because Steam's algorithm is mathematically rigged against cheap games. It prioritizes revenue, not downloads. It wants to earn more. By pricing low, you're working twice as hard to get half the promotion. Today, we are going to see what I basically call the sushi theory. Why doubling your price will actually increase your sales, signal quality to the players, and stop you from insulting or worse, destroying your hard work. In this video, we are going to talk about three traps that are actually punishing your game: the psychology, the algorithm, and the discount. Picture this: you are at the finish line. You have spent 3 years pouring your soul into this game. You have fixed the bugs, polished the art, and now you're staring at that empty text box called the price. You are terrified that nobody will play it, so your instinct is to lower the barrier. You tell yourself, if I make it $5, nobody has an excuse not to buy it. I mean, it's so cheap, right? You want to be accessible, you want to be available, you want it to be available to everybody. You want to be the nice guy. You think that being the cheapest option is how you win. But this is where you mess up. Let's start with trap number one: the psychology. Imagine you walk past a gas station and see a sign, fresh sushi for $1. You don't think it's a bargain. You think it's dangerous. You think it's rotten. You run away, right? You don't buy it. This is the sushi theory. By pricing at $5, you are signaling to your game that it's garbage. Now look at Factorio. It costs $35. The developers explicitly promised to never put it on sale. Did that scare people away? No. It has sold over 3.5 million copies. That's $35 price tag is a signal. The game is a masterpiece and we know it. Not only do we know it, we also have the confidence to ask you to pay such a high price. If Factorio was $5, maybe people would assume that it's just another cheap tower defense clone, right? Your price sets the expectations. Now, once you get past the psychology, you hit trap number two: the algorithm. Steam doesn't care how many copies you sell, it cares how much money you make. If you sell 1,000 copies at $10, you make $10,000. Whereas if your competitor sells just 600 copies at $20, they end up making 12,000, which makes more money for Steam. Which do you think Steam is going to promote more? This is why a game like RimWorld, which is priced at $35, stays on the front page for years, while a cute platformer vanishes in 24 hours. Even if the platformer has more players, Steam would still promote RimWorld because it generates more revenue per click. By pricing low, you are actually working twice as hard for half the visibility. Finally, let's take a look at trap number three: the long game. You have to realize that your launch price isn't permanent. Eventually, at some point of time, you will run a sale. It happens with every game, right? Every developer. So if you start at $10, 50% sales drop would mean that you're pricing game at $5. After Steam cut taxes, you're making pennies. At this point, it doesn't make any business sense. This is the exact strategy AAA publishers use. They launch the game at $70. Why? So that when they sell it at $35 on Black Friday, they still earn money. So if you launch at $20, your Black Friday price is $10, right? That is still sustainable revenue. Pricing high is the only way to build a safety net for the future. So here's the new reality. When you finally click publish at $20, everything changes. You signal confidence like Factorio. You feed the Steam algorithm that it promotes revenue like RimWorld. And you give yourself the room to run discounts any point of time, right, without going bankrupt. So before you leave, I have a specific ask for you. Open Steam right now. Find three successful games that are in your genre. Ignore the cheap ones. Find the most expensive one that is selling well. That is your new baseline. I want you to run the numbers. Realize that at $20, you only need half the fans of a $10 game to survive. Stop planning to sell 1,000,000 copies for $1. Plan to sell 10,000 copies for a living wage. Now listen to me closely. You didn't stay up late for 3 years, sacrificing your weekends, your sleep, just to ask the world for pocket change. When you price your game at $20, you aren't being greedy. You're buying your own freedom. You're telling Steam, the players, and yourself, most importantly, that your time mattered. And let me tell you another psychological trick. Once you have decided to price your game high, you will also put in the extra effort in the game to make it worthy of the price tag. That automatically, that single thing basically levels up your game. See, that's all I have gotten for you. Pricing a game isn't just a business decision, right? It's a statement about how seriously you take yourself. Too many developers say they want a career, but act like it's a side project. If you're done treating game dev like a hobby and you're ready to build something real, something sustainable, then you are in the right place. Hit subscribe. We're not here to chase downloads. We're here to build careers, studios, and freedom. Respect your work. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace out.